Hey, what's up guys? It is Jesse with the Loader Real Estate Group at eXp Realty, and I'm here today to talk to you about the latest real estate stats for Leduc specifically. So no Edmonton, no surrounding area, no Leduc County, nothing like that. I just kind of want to give you a picture of what's going on within the city of Leduc right now. Because a lot of times when you throw the greater Edmonton area into it, it can really muddy things up and doesn't really give you a clear picture as to what's going on here locally. So I do have another video out there if you want to check it out on my YouTube channel about the greater Edmonton area. I mean, it is interesting, although it's somewhat similar to Leduc, but Leduc we're just sort of seeing, everything's just magnified a little bit more. So the price of a single family home this year is about $365,000. You compare that to 2017 in September, it's down actually not much at all, by 0.6%. I actually found that pretty interesting because just my experience lately, it seems to be the single family homes are kind of getting hit a little bit harder. But again, everybody's experience is a little bit different, just like it is for you. If you're the average home seller out there, you might think this is a terrible time to sell. That may not necessarily be true. It could be, but it might not necessarily be. So the numbers don't lie. Condos are down. They're about $186,000 this year compared to about $194,000 last year, so that's down about 4%. Duplexes, similar thing. They're down a little bit this year as well, 3% overall. So all in all combined, the Leduc market, when you encompass all sales, we're down about 4% from this time last year. Okay, so I don't think that's going to be shocking to anybody, right? So what does this mean for you? Well, again, if you're a buyer, this is still a fantastic time to buy. We still have relatively low interest rates, although they are creeping up, so it's important to get your rate locked in now if you are thinking about buying a home in the next 6 months, let's say. Most lenders and mortgage brokers will hold your rate for about 120 days, so it's important to talk to them very early in the process to ensure that you get the lowest interest rate possible. It makes a big difference to your monthly payment, which is the number that you should be focusing, not the big purchase price number. That number doesn't mean anything to you on a daily or a monthly basis. It's what comes out of your bank account every month is what makes a difference, right? And the interest rate affects that a lot. Okay, so still a pretty good time to be a buyer. You have plenty to choose from. So this is the frustration of me when I'm selling a house, as well for many of my sellers, is that we'll get somebody to come look at a house in April for the first time, and then they love it, but they want to wait. And they want to see what's out there because they think something better might be coming up next week. And honestly, in a lot of cases, they're right, okay? That's the reality of trying to sell a home in Leduc right now. There's, of course, exceptions to this, mature neighborhood stuff. If you have a spectacularly renovated home in South Park, in the original part of Meadowview, in Corinthia, around Telford, like something like that, those are still selling very, very quickly. Okay, but look around Leduc. Leduc is filled with newer homes, right? It's grown so much over the past decade, 15, 20 years that the majority of physical residences in our community are that newer style home, okay? And those are taking the hardest hit right now. So all in all, if you're trying to sell a home, that's the tough part, okay? Buying a home, you can take your time. Your borrowing power is less than what it used to be, although it's still pretty good. Interest rates are still low, so it's an amazing time to be a buyer. But look, and this is what I want to stress to you out there, is that when you're doing both, okay, so if you're somebody who's living in your $300,000 house right now and you want to go buy the $400,000 house, well, I mean, one of those situations is not going to be ideal, okay? When you're selling a home, that's the hard part right now. That's the part you need to focus on, and that's the part that's gonna have the most pain, okay? The buying part is easy. You're gonna get a great deal, period, okay? So, I mean, a perfect example, I just sold a home in South Fork for 370 something grand, low 370s, where when it was purchased in 2014, it was purchased for damn near $400,000. And at that time, those buyers didn't have a lot of choice. They kind of just had to pick one because if they liked something and they waited till Monday, it was going to be gone, right? That was the climate we were in for buyers at that time. Okay, so you couldn't be as picky and choosy, and you didn't have a lot of leverage in the negotiating when you write an offer. Well, so it's completely reversed now. Okay, so when you're a buyer, you have a lot of leverage. You have time is on your side. Okay. So as long as you're staying within, you know, typically that 4-month range, because then your interest rate might change if you have your rate locked in. But anyway, so when you're doing both, one of those is not going to be ideal. So, but you never know. Some people are not in this situation. Perfect example is, now this is an Edmonton example, but it can hold true for Leduc as well. I have a seller who's selling a renovated home in a mature area that's highly desirable, close to LRT, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff, close to the Mill Creek Ravine. The property's gonna sell very quickly, okay? And what they're buying is a 2,000 square foot, 2-story in the suburbs around Ellerslie. There's a million of them for sale. So that individual is getting the best of both worlds, okay? So not every situation is different, is the same, is my point, okay? So your situation is gonna be very different from somebody else out there. So as always, I'm always here for just, you know, a no obligation chat about your real estate needs and wants and what your plans are and things like that. I'm never gonna sell you, I'll just listen to you, provide you the best advice possible in today's market, and I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. When somebody calls me up today and wants me to evaluate their house, I'm very honest with them, and I've lost listing presentations and they've gone with somebody else because of that. And I'm okay with that, because eventually they're going to realize that that price may not be the best fit for today's market, and hopefully they'll call me back, right? When they start getting down to the price I originally quoted them. So look, I'm never gonna sell you, I'm gonna be honest with you, and I'll give you the best advice possible in your specific situation. Okay, so there's a bit of a snapshot of what's going on. I hope you find this valuable, and I hope everybody has an awesome rest of the week. We'll talk to you later. Bye.